All right, welcome to Boss Up Goddess. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I interview trailblazing women who share their wisdom for all of us to live bigger, better, and bolder. The woman you're about to meet defies description. She has so many tremendous accomplishments, and I'm so excited. So let me just share. She's had an award winning NBC TV show for children. She's written 8 books, and she does things every day, whether you see her dressed as the Christmas fairy at Costco or you're in a business meeting and she's dressed in costume, sharing just a ray of sunshine. And we all need that. I want you to meet this dynamic, amazing woman, Janai Mestrovich. Welcome, Janai.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate your kindness in introducing me. And I'm also known as Grandma Boom by all the children I've worked with, thousands over the year, over 44 years. I've been teaching them social emotional learning with a really special approach that I created. And I'm also known this time of year as the Christmas fairy, because I do things to help. One of my hobbies is to help homeless, and also now with the wildfire victims, I'm helping families who lost everything. And I just love being the Christmas fairy. And the reason I'm the Christmas fairy is that when I was a little girl, I wanted to be Santa Claus, and I thought I was born a boy. I was born a girl, and I can't be a boy, and I can't be Santa. So I created the Christmas fairy. And so she lives.
She lives, and she delivered 400 books to underserved children this week. And then you went grocery shopping at Costco, and first you delighted the children, and then you delighted the adults who were shopping. I just,
you know what? If I can
that.
find the picture, I'm going to show them. Okay, so that's what at least the headdress part looked like.
Oh my gosh, it's like Las Vegas. Wow.
It is.
Oh my gosh. At Costco.
It was fun because people were saying, now, who are you? What are you doing? And I just say, even with the pandemic, the Christmas fairy rides on.
I love that, Janai. So very importantly, that exemplifies how you live your life on your terms. And you define who you are. You say you never act your age, and you're glad about it. And you have a spirit that is just so electrifying and unique. I think you serve as a great example to all of us to be authentic, have fun in life, and do what pleases our hearts. Can you talk about how you found the courage to be as you are?
Thank you for saying all those kind things, Elizabeth. Yes, I would love to share. When I was growing up, I was born in 49. It was a good year. But what happened was, little girls were supposed to be seen and not heard. And I went to a parochial school. So from not in kindergarten, but first grade through 10th grade, I had to wear uniforms. They were like kind of bland uniforms. And my spirit is just different than that. And so, I gained from school and all that, but I was just ready to explode out of blandness. And so really, so I kind of slowly geysered out of that. And the older I get, I keep geysering more and more. I don't know what's going to happen this next year. Because my costumes and things are getting wilder. And so, which I love because I really don't care what anybody thinks. But I grew up depending on the external world for who I was. So if you didn't compliment me, then my day was ruined, or I thought you didn't like me. So, and at the age of about 10, my peers I was very scrawny. I was sick a lot, almost died several times. And so a nickname was developed by my peers, and that was some of my peers, not all of them, calling me Ugly Stick. And so that's who I thought I was, because I was listening to the environment about what this was. And so it took me, I did biofeedback training when I was in my 20s and realized that some of my intuitive gifts were okay. And, that I wasn't really too weird. I mean, I'm kind of fun weird, but not too weird. Like, no. So I have continued to develop myself with self-care, doing a lot of different techniques, methods, since I was in my 20s, when I really started branching out of just listening to who others were telling me I was or who I was supposed to be, because I didn't have this full feeling inside. I wanted that. I believe in self-actualization, but I believe that we have to continually work with that as we grow. We are continually evolving. So like with the pandemic, what I'm saying to the pandemic, like, it's this person trying to control me. You will not use me. I am going to use you. I am going to grow and learn, be inspired, inspire, and have fun. Those are my focuses for the pandemic. Because otherwise, like in my DNA, there's depression and stuff in my DNA from, relatives, ancestors, whatever. So I don't want to go into that place. If I start to dip, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my breathing. I can feel it how the mind, body, emotions, and breathing system, because it's a system. I listen to the signals. I listen to that. And if it starts to go that way, I go, you can stay for like 3 seconds because I am not spending time with you. Self-pity and that stuff, it'll chew you up and spit you out. And you're doing it to yourself. Let me show you something. I work with children and they do artwork a lot. I want to show you what we do to ourselves. Okay, so when you have, like with kids, I don't say negative thoughts, I say bad thoughts. I work a lot with preschoolers. I work with all ages, actually. It works for everybody. But I want to show you, they may not be able to talk to you with their words about what's going on inside them, but they can show you with their artwork. This is what bad, negative thoughts look like inside. That's what it feels like. This is what happy thoughts, good choices, that's what it looks and feels like. It's a choice. It's always a choice. I'm going to show you another piece of artwork because the approach that I do with teaching children is really exemplary. And that's saying it from feedback over 44 years that I've been doing this and what happens for the children. So 5-year-old did this. This is how I feel when I keep my mad feelings inside. I don't feel good. This is what it looks and feels like. I still don't feel good when I take my mad feelings out on somebody else. You see, we're doing that to ourselves. We think we're doing it to somebody else, or we think we're holding blame or holding, the mad feelings about somebody else, but we're doing it to ourselves. Even if it affects somebody else. And here, if I talk about my feelings or I squeeze them out or blow them out or dance them out or run them out or whatever, I feel like a Superkid. And that's my organization, superkidpower.org. So you see, it's a choice. It's always a choice.
I love that. That applies to adults too. We can all apply that.
When I taught at the University of Oregon for about 15 years, my students always would say, I thought I was learning this stuff to teach to kids. I can't believe how much my life is changing. And this is why it works so well. It's called 3D learning. And I just love doing it. So 3D, everything becomes real. It's not abstract. It's not just a rule for children to follow. So I could say, it's not good to lie. Don't lie. It's not a good choice. Just tell the truth. And talk about it some more. Not the same as this is what a lie looks and feels like inside your body. So when you lie, you have something that happens inside. Where do you feel that? So a little boy said, he was 3. Oh, I feel it in my tummy. And like when my mom made some quiche and she asked me, when she gave me a bite, she asked me if I liked it. And I said, should I put it in my mouth? I said, And I went to the bathroom and I flushed it down. I spit it out and flushed it down. And then he went on to tell me some other things that were lies. It was like true confession. I didn't ask for it, but I got it. So you see, it's real. Children relate to this automatically. And so I could say, I don't know. Oh, here it is. I could say now slow, deep belly button breathing really gives us high octane fuel. So if you do that and stay calm, you can make good choices. Even if you're mad, we all get mad. We all get confused and frustrated and stressed and sad and afraid. We all have those because we're human. But if you know the first place where you feel it and you can breathe through that, you can make a good choice with those feelings instead of a bad choice where you don't feel so good about yourself later. So belly buttons, get ready. When this goes out, your belly button goes out. Fill it up with air. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out the tight knots and tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I love
So
that.
see, we're all empathic. Children are really empathic. So when they see this, they feel it. So they get it right away how to do a deep breath instead of just going,
Oh, I love that. It's so applicable to us grown-ups. Oh my gosh.
you know, all of this is, in fact, I've trained administrators and people in corporations, and it just works for everybody. I could say, you know, when you're tense and you get those feelings inside, here's what's happening. You've got a knot inside. You see that?
Oh.
But when you do your slow, deep belly button breathing and you make a choice, you have to use your willpower. I really want to untangle that knot. I want to release the tension. That's what happens. So you see what's going on inside. So what I'm doing is, like, I tell people, you can be on 2 channels at once. I mean, heaven knows we do it with technology. You got your cell phone, you got your iPad, you got your, you know, you got television on, you're just doing all this stuff. Let's do it for ourselves. So I can listen to you, Elizabeth. I can hear you, but I'm on that channel, paying attention, while at the same time, I'm aware of what's happening with my voice, with my internal sensations, where I might feel any tension or relaxation, what's going on with my breathing. I'm on 2 channels at once. So what happens out here, if you were to, like, or somebody else, you know, would, like, all of a sudden just say something really nasty to me, I still have a choice what I do with this inside here. It doesn't have to control me. We are externally oriented, and that's why there's so much substance abuse, because we depend on things out here to change, at least for a little while, something in here. So for example, I've had some surgeries, dental implants. I had a bunion surgery, and I asked for no drugs before, during, or after.
What?
Because I use mind-body skills. So it's not that I don't feel the pain. I feel it, but I don't struggle with it. I accept it. So when they're pulling the tooth out or screwing the implant down into my jaw, you know, I'm thanking that tooth for giving me 71 years of its service, or, you know, welcoming the implant in. You know, just when I had a rod put in I'm bionic. So I've got a replaced hip, I've got a rod in my left leg, I've got screws in my right foot, and I've got screws and stuff in here. Probably some in here too. So anyway, when I had that rod, my heel was smashed and I had several spiral breaks. What I did to prepare was I put myself in a place where I went to the cellular level, and the cells and I, we were just imagining this newcomer coming in to be part of our family in our neighborhood. And so we would have cell tea parties and put up little signs. I was imagining all of this, you know, putting up signs and welcoming it so it didn't feel foreign.
Oh.
The surgeon, yeah, I did a lot of other things too we don't have time for today, but the surgeon told me, he released me 2 months early from looking at the x-rays, and said that if he was writing a book, he would put me on the cover because of what he saw happening. And it was because of all these natural healing things that I was doing for myself. Oh, here's another thing. Here's a fun little thing for everybody watching. If you have something with your bones, guess what? Research shows that the purring of cats, cat purring, can help heal bones. There's something in that frequency. So I imagine I had like millions of cats purring on my leg.
I love it. You know what, Janai? This is all about the power of the mind, the power to endure pain, the power to shift emotional states, the power of decision to say, no, I'm not going to have a pity party, or I'm not going to be dishonest, or I'm not. I love this. It's all connected. It's all connected. And your spirit is just electrifying.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How can we all who are so still stuck in that sort of mold of how we're supposed to be, how can we escape it and be like you, to be more expressive, to be more um, just fearless about how we present in the world?
Well, first of all, I would say we all have to find our own formulas. And so, there's nobody that's going to want to be exactly like me. You've got to find your own, but you have to do something first to do that. Okay, here is wimpy willpower. Here is strong willpower. You've got to grab that willpower and you have to say to yourself, I am going to be true to myself. I am going to continue to discover who I am. I am going to free myself from those external voices and restrictions of how I'm supposed to be in a beehive like everybody else.
Mm.
I refuse to be in the beehive.
Mm-hmm.
I live outside the box. There's a price to pay at times because sometimes people aren't real receptive. My thing is for my formula of who I am, it's okay whatever I do as long as I don't harm myself
Mm-hmm.
and I don't harm anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I'm being creative, I'm having fun, I'm trying to help somebody, whatever. There are so many different scenarios that call upon different kinds of creativity. I decided, you know what, 71, who knows how much longer I've got. I plan to be around for a while, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make the most of it. The day that I die, I have goals. I want to help someone. I want to dance. And I don't want to regret what I have done with my life. I mean, we can all say like, well, I regret that, I wish I would have lived some or this or that or what. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about regrets of how I've managed myself, to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So get this. So I'm kind of wild with my costumes and stuff now. Well, you know what? I started that when I was a little girl because all I had was like towels and rags and like one old skirt, to play dress ups. But I would see these costumes in my mind and I couldn't draw good, but I would draw and I knew what I was seeing in my mind. And so I could wear a towel and some rags all over me. And what I pictured that I drew that didn't look so good, that's what I was wearing.
Wow.
That's what I was wearing. So we can go back to our childhood and look at some things that so I'm doing it now. It's like, man, I'm wearing it. I'm going for it. I am 3D.
Yes, yes.
And I love it. I'm having fun and it sparks other people. So many people stop me at Costco and they were just having fun and smiling and asking me about what I was doing. And so I told them about the Christmas fairy, and the work that I do with that. Here's another thing. My main work is dedicated to the children of the world. I had a vision when I was 13. I was given a vision and it had to do with children and helping them, and it was global. And so having a vision means it's a responsibility. It's not something you can go. So with thousands and thousands of rejections, I'm telling you, in television, radio, programs, in education, whatever, I've had so many rejections. I don't even remember them all, but they won't control my destiny because I know who I am. So when I was little, by the time I was 2 years old, they actually called me Little Mother. They called me that. And I was always doing things for children. So that just really fits. I had to come up with my creative approach that I use, which is wonderful for them. And I love that. My vision, here's my dream vision. And that is that, like, I would love to see all the children in the world. And yes, I'm idealistic. That's fine because I need to dream because I like feeling this. I love all children. But I would love to see all the children in the world learn through this accelerated way, this 3D learning with social emotional learning, how to manage themselves, how to tap into their internal resources so that they're not externally dependent on things that a lot of our culture is dependent on. And it gets them out of just being mind heavy. Like, we're top heavy in this culture, so much information. We're losing our bodies. We're losing our bodies. because the signals, okay, here, I'll show you what I show kids. Like, okay, the first place I get tense, if it's right there, that's where I need to pay attention. Otherwise, what happens is a whole bunch of those X's, that tension spreads all over my body. And at that point, that's when the feeling, the emotion takes control, and I act out of habit, and it's usually a bad habit. But if I grab it right away, I can be aware, I can breathe with it, I can make a good choice. It doesn't mean I don't feel mad. It's what I do with the mad.
Wow.
So knowing that first place, so I would tell everybody, in terms of being true to yourself, just play in your mind and your body and your feelings. Like, what do you imagine would really make you happy? Now, if you want to live in a castle and you want to be a queen and whatever, that may not happen. But what gives you that feeling? So does it mean that you dress up more? Like, or does it mean that you find things to decorate in your house that help you feel like it's a castle? And you keep seeing that, and you've created it. Be creative. Be true to yourself by listening. You've got to listen to your spirit, to your soul. I'm happy. Yes, I have my ups and downs, but boy, those bootstraps come up really fast, because I am not going to spend time. I don't want to waste my life energy in a pity pot, in just being depressed, or, oh, this didn't happen or that didn't happen. I want to attract. I know that when I'm really being true to myself and I'm happy and I'm helping others, I know that attracts some kind of energy inside me and around me. I radiate. I know what I radiate. And I know that in my own humble, very grateful little way of what I know to do, that I'm helping the world in that way. I may not be able to reach all the children in the world, but boy, I'm going to still keep working at it. I would like to stream into classrooms, kindergarten first, preschools, every week, a different theme, and it's me in costume and I'm teaching them, and then the teachers just have to reinforce it, or the parents, as it is now with Zoom. Whatever, I'm hopeful, as long as we are creative. In this pandemic, if we can see it as a time to be creative and learn more about ourselves, and not just go, this is boring and it's dull. Yeah, you know what?
That's right.
I live alone with the cat. My poor cat, his ears probably just like burn half the time because I talk to him all the time. But I'm determined. I'm using my willpower. I don't want to feel like this. Right. I owe it to myself because I love me. I hug myself in the mornings like there's nobody else to hug me.
Oh,
I hug me and I say, I love you, Janai.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I feel it. I feel it. So, I don't, if I'm talking to an individual, I can help them to discover more of their formula. So in general, these are some of the things that I've shared, with the listening, using willpower, being determined to use willpower. Do what you need to do to move energy. That's another thing. We get stuck. And then we feel like, and it's easy to get into blame and pardon the expression, but bitching. And, where does it take you?
Down.
It takes you down in here. It's okay to give a report and not be caught in complaining, but, hey, this was really hard today, and and process it. But why stay there? Why? It doesn't do anybody any good. We are all growing. You're either going to grow in a downturn way or you're going to grow in an upturn way. Choose. It's your choice. What are we doing to ourselves?
I love the way you think and the way you live. It's so refreshing, and we can all learn so much from you.
Well, thank you. I'm human. I'm very human. We're all evolving. We all have our glitches and we make mistakes and whatever, but I forgive myself.
How do you do that? How do you do that? That's so important.
I go into my heart space and I look at if it's a mistake that I've made or something. Like the other day, I had an experience where there was a really strong glare coming on my windshield. And I looked and I honestly could not see. And I turned and a woman was coming this way And I should have been waiting for her, but I honestly didn't see her. Her car was the color like of the glare that I had on my windshield. I
Mhm.
did not see her. And she flipped me off, and, she was mad. So, and I just went, cause when I finally saw her, because I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. I wouldn't want to do that. So I had to go to a place of, of apologizing, into her spirit, because she was gone and I was gone down another road. I'm really sorry. Gosh, I wouldn't have done that on purpose. And then
Right.
forgive myself. Like, what could I have done? I don't know, because the glare was really bad. Um,
Wow.
but I forgave myself. It
Yeah.
wasn't something that I did intentionally. And then I
Mhm.
felt better. It's like I had to let go.
Mhm.
In Frozen, you're just like, let it go. And here's another thing. Here's a little song that I teach children to calm ourselves. Well, first of all, there's a little one that goes, breathe, think, and make a good choice. Breathe, think, and make a good choice. And the calming one is really lovely. Calming, calming, I'm calming myself. Breathing slowly, I'm calming myself. Could you feel that?
I want you to make a record and let me listen to it all the time. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. There was a little boy in preschool that learned this. When I could go into classrooms in costume and teach, and he saw his teacher getting very frustrated, stressed out. She was really losing it. He stood up. He was 4 years old. He stood up and he started singing that song. The whole class joined in with him, and the teacher like woke up from her stress state and was thinking, oh my gosh, they're doing for me what I usually do for them. And she
Oh.
changed. Now that is empowering super kids. Can you imagine what he felt like, that he helped his teacher? The whole class joined in, and the teacher was thrilled,
Oh, that's
thrilled.
beautiful.
Isn't
I
it?
love it. Yes.
Superkidpower.org. There's a free video, and there's other resources. I write articles, blogs. I do all kinds of stuff just to help inspire for all
Oh,
ages.
good.
But that's for children. That
I'll
part
put the
is.
link in the description box so people can click on it if they want to hire. If teachers want to invite you onto their Zoom screens for now to share what you just shared with the children. And can you hold up your books, because you have 8 books and you have 2 of them are now in Spanish and English, correct?
Yes, this
Okay.
is Being Calm, about a bumblebee. This one's
Oh,
bilingual now, and it teaches
oh,
about deep breathing and a bee that needed to learn how to really slow down and breathe slowly. His
hmm.
sister taught him. And this is Jackson's Fun Adventures, that's now bilingual. And
Oh,
it helps children to
beautiful.
understand. It says, I can be who I want to be.
I love
It's written
that.
to help children to be true to themselves, to discover with their imagination and what
Hmm.
feels good to them. And
Hmm.
then I have a bunch of other books, but this one has a lot of very interesting stories, if I don't say so myself. I'm 71 now, but this is the Grandma Boom Chronicles,
Oh, I love
More
it.
Alive at 65. So that was 6 years ago.
Oh, I love it.
People tell me they love the stories in it, and there's a lot of really good points to help with your life.
Hmm.
And it's done in story form, basically.
Hmm.
So everything's on Amazon.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I have books at my house here too in the garage.
Ah.
And I have something I want to do. I have a singing wand that I
Okay.
always keep in my purse, because I can get children to, like babies, to even stop crying in airports and stuff. So I'm going to do this wand, and I usually do it over people's heads or children's heads. So everybody make a wish of what you want in terms of something with self-care or being true to yourself or whatever. Make it for yourself. So when I do this and it sings, make your wish, and just keep it in your heart. Let it live inside there. Here we go.
Oh my goodness, Janai, that was awesome. I felt it. I felt it.
Good.
I felt that I wanted to release something and I heard it is gone.
Fantastic, Elizabeth. You were really in the present moment. And that's another thing. Be in the present moment, use the past, visualize the future, but be right here and do things now that really capitalize on what you gained from your past, not the stuff that dragged you down. What'd you learn from that? How are you strong from that? And
Mhm.
how can you project into the future to create what you want to do? Not so much just externally, like I want this kind of house and I'd like to have that
Mhm.
kind of car. I'm
Mhm.
talking about how do you want to feel? I know
Yes.
how I want to feel in my aging process. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I love me for it.
Oh, I love that. So you, Janai, you are so remarkable. Thank you so much. You are literally a ray of sunshine in our world.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
appreciate you sharing your tips so much. And what you say about children is needed more than ever because of social media providing
Yes.
these images where pretty much make everybody feel inferior or they're missing
Yes.
out on something, not
Yep.
good enough. And you're counteracting that. So thank you.
Yes, I am. I'm living it as best I can. Again, I'm human, but I'm living it. And I know when I touch other people's lives that something is sparked there. They tell me that. And just like I get sparked from other things, other people. So we got to spread those sparks and keep them bright. You can't see it, but boy, I got glitter on. I got all kinds of shiny stuff on every day.
I love that. Well, your spirit absolutely glitters, Janai.
Thank
So
you.
everybody, please, can you say your website one more time?
Yes, it's superkidpower.org.
Okay.
And then there's another one. It's Grandma Boom. That's BOOM.com. It needs work, but if you scroll down on that front page, my son and I were on Let's Make a Deal, and I was in costume with Wayne Brady, made him bend over laughing. I mean, it's really worth watching. People save it for hard days. They just watch it because they laugh. And
Oh,
I
I love
accidentally
it.
drooled on national television. It was national television.
So funny.
I'm in costume. You really should watch it
Oh,
if you haven't seen it.
okay, I will. Janai, thank you so much for sharing yourself this evening. You are an amazing woman and you have inspired me. And I know everybody who sees this can't help but feel better by hearing from you, learning from you, and implementing some of the many techniques that you just shared.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for doing this service because you're
You're
touching
welcome.
a lot of people at a time when we need to be touched and
Thank
inspired.
you.
So thank you for being of service in that way. Mwah. My grandchildren are waiting. I've got to go.
Okay, okay. Thank you again, Janai, and thank you for watching Boss Up Goddess, where I interview trailblazing women like Janai who teach us their wisdom to help us all live bigger, better, and bolder. If you're getting value out of this program, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. And remember, you have the power. I'll see you next time.